So, just after 7:30 on transfer deadline day, and there is now less than 4 hours to go until the transfer window slams shut. I'm joined here by Matt Smith and Ali Hunter, who are going to discuss the biggest deals of the day, and they've been torn away from finding out the latest transfers across transfer deadline day. Guys, thanks for joining me. First and foremost, what's the biggest deal across the day for you, Ali?
I think the best deal has been Fulham picking up Erby Emanuelson from AC Milan. Very versatile player, 26 years old, joined till the end of the season, so it's not costing them anything, apart from obviously wages, but I think that's a really good signing for them.
He's got pedigree as well at Milan as well, and he's going to add something to Fulham that they don't currently have, do you think?
Yeah, I just think it's that versatility that he's got. He can play left back, he can play winger, he can play in defensive midfield as well, so he's a squad player for them, which is something that I think every team in the Premier League could do with.
And resident La Liga expert Matt, what's the best deal across the day for you?
I would say you've got the Nacho Monreal signing for Arsenal, which is just about ready to go through. Fantastic player and a great price for them to get him for. I think it was only around about 8 million, 30 million euros. Links up with Santi Cazorla like he did at Malaga, so there's ties there, and basically Arsenal yet again cashing in on the fact that Malaga need money, they need a left back, with the injury of Gibbs recently, and Monreal, another product of the Osasuna youth system, coming through, and he's developing. He's only been kept out the Spanish national team through the progress of Jordi Alba, who's obviously fantastic for Barcelona, but besides him, fantastic coup for Arsenal to get him in.
Definitely. Well, we'll come on to Monreal and Emanuelson a little bit later, but the big deals really have come at Paris Saint-Germain and at Milan as well. Let's start with David Beckham and the news that he has signed a 5-month contract with Paris Saint-Germain. Is it the right club for him?
I think any club for him is going to be the right club for him. At the moment, I can't really see what he's going to bring to PSG in terms of footballing ability. But obviously, it's more for the shirt sales, isn't it? PSG are going to bring in a lot of money from him. Just him being in the city is going to be huge for them. And of course, they're still in the Champions League, so maybe he links up with the Ibrahimovic in the latter stage of the Champions League. We could have a dream partnership there, who knows? Well,
we were discussing this a little bit earlier as well, and we were talking about the embarrassment of riches the PSG currently have available to them, especially up front. They've got Beckham, Lavezzi, Ibrahimovic. That is a superb combination. How far do you think they can go now in the Champions League with Beckham added to their ranks?
I mean, previously, even before the signing of Beckham, I've been impressed with the way that they've played in the Champions League, getting through their group reasonably easy compared to a lot of big teams who didn't get through that quickly. Paris was straight through. The quality of Ibrahimovic is undoubtable, and he can head a ball, Beckham cross a ball. In terms of winning it, might be a bit too much this season, but they're going to be around.
And of course, Arsenal are going to be up there as well. And yeah, okay. Point taken. The biggest news regarding Beckham, though, was really this fact that he's now donating his entire salary across the 5 months to a local children's charity in Paris. How about that?
That's great, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how much he's actually going to get in terms of wages, but that's great for him. He obviously doesn't need the wages at this stage of his career. The amount of money he's picked up in sponsorships throughout his career is going to leave him set for life. I don't think he's going to be needing any money anytime soon. So, yeah, it's a great touch. It's a great touch.
And have you ever heard of this happening before? I mean, we've heard of Angel Rangel recently distributing money around Swansea, and there was talk of Mario Balotelli doing similar to a load of tramps around Manchester. But we had a lot of talk about Mario Balotelli. Have you heard of anything similar to it?
Not particularly. I mean, Beckham can do no wrong, can he? I think he's got to be on terms for a Sir ahead of his name soon, I think. It's a great gesture, and to be honest, he seems to be doing everything right at the minute. Let's just hope as well, though, in terms of football, in terms that it's a good deal, and he gets a few games. I mean, when he went to Milan previous on loan, I think, from in between the break of the Galaxy season, he did make a decent impact. He wasn't just there for the gimmick; he was there for putting some nice balls in the box as well. So let's hope for that as well.
Well, we've touched upon Balotelli there as well, and you know, he's always at the centre of the headlines, isn't he? And he's a journalist's dream. He's moved for £19 million across to Milan. I'm personally sad to see him go as a journalist over here in the UK. But how much will Man City miss him?
I don't think it's. I don't think it's a case of whether he'll miss him as much as it is what can AC Milan get out of him. I think that's the big side of this story. Whether Massimiliano Allegri can do the job that Mancini couldn't, and kind of get the potential that he undoubtedly has. You see the burst of quality in his Man City career. I think he played 80 times. His one assist was for Sergio Aguero, the title-winning goal. So yeah, exactly. So miss him. I don't know. They've obviously got a lot of talent in that squad and a lot of money to replace him. So I'm not sure about that. But for AC Milan, I think a fairly decent signing of Allegri can do something with him.
Well, Roberto Mancini, it didn't seem like a week was going by without him saying Mario has the talent. He's got the ability to be one of the best players in Europe. Do you think he can fulfil that in Milan, Matt?
I mean, as Ali says, Allegri can manage it. It's a huge task for him. In terms of potential, he's gone for 19 million. He hasn't gone for a light amount of money. That's probably one of the biggest coups besides the Willian transfer. His price speaks for himself. Everyone knows he's got undeniable quality. It seems to be an attitude thing. If he's in the right frame of mind, he pulls magical things off. If not, I mean, he sometimes looks like he's completely disinterested. Personally, I'm a big fan of him. It's sad to see him leaving the Premier League. And not just for the wacky sort of things that rumours. His talent on the pitch was quality at times, and for AC Milan, brilliant signing. Got a hard time in the Champions League coming up. I don't suppose he'll be able to play in that, but I think if he hits the ground running, he's got at Milan he's going to be the big shot there. With them losing all their sort of big players, El Shaarawy's the only sort of one who was coming through. Them two work together. I think Balotelli'll be able to succeed.
Well, we talk about big deals, but both of those deals in terms of monetary value have been absolutely eclipsed from the news from Russia, where Anzhi Makashkala have lodged a £34 million bid for Shakhtar Donetsk midfielder Willian. Who's coming out of that the better?
I don't know. I really don't know, because we've all been impressed by Shakhtar in the Champions League this season. And of course, a big part of that has been Willian. But I don't know if he's going to be able to prove the value in £34 million, because if he goes to Anzhi, he's not going to be playing at the very, very top level like he almost is with Shakhtar. You've got to say that they're pushing in the latter stages of the Champions League. So I don't think anybody really wins out of that. Anzhi will probably think they would, but 34 million, you're not getting a heck of a lot out of that. You're just getting one player.
It's another thing that saying money talks nowadays. I mean, he's been linked with Tottenham and Chelsea in the past. Do you think Chelsea and Spurs have both missed out on such a talent?
Personally, I would say they both have. Yeah, I mean, whether they want to front up the 34 million is a different story. And if a bid comes in like that, there's obviously doubts raised. But that's certainly missing out on a world-class player. I think he took everyone's attention last season's Champions League, where he sort of started to burst onto the scene a bit, and everyone was recognising his name. This season, he's carried it on. He's got goals in big games. Another product of the Corinthians youth system, similar to Robinho, Diego, players like that, where he comes through. So in a way, I mean, it's a shame that he's, no disrespect to the Russian league, but it's not as sort of going to challenge for much more. Whereas I think with Shakhtar as well, he could have challenged this season. I think they've got Dortmund in the Champions League. Could have challenged this season. Perhaps it's a little bit of a loss to the Premier League and for Chelsea or Tottenham, because it would have been signing a world-class player. Yeah.
Well, we already touched upon it, especially you, Matt, with the Arsenal signing, and as an Arsenal fan, our left side's been a little bit of a problem of late. Kieran Gibbs is now ruled out for 3 weeks with a hamstring injury, and then there's Andre Santos, who, well, he's Andre Santos, isn't he? I think that's the best way to describe him. We've already talked to you a little bit about it, Matt, but what do you think Ali Nacho Monreal is going to bring to Arsenal, apart from a competent left-back?
Well, I think Matt will be able to say a little bit more about Nacho Monreal, but certainly in terms of what Arsenal have been missing, has been someone on that left side. But I'd make the point, actually, that there aren't that many great left-sided or right-sided defenders in world football at the moment. Not just European football, but world football. So Arsenal, I think, would be getting one of the higher-end players at left-back, because there simply aren't that many. obviously they've got to sign someone. Just, I think, for the morale at the club, the fans are calling for it. I think just having somebody to come in and freshen up that training ground is going to make a big difference to them. So if they can get somebody in, someone like Nacho Monreal, who ticks all the boxes, somebody they need in a position that they need, and he's a signing. So